What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the San Francisco Giants. They're in a very interesting situation right now. So let's get right into it without further ado. So right now, the San Francisco Giants, they have a 45 and 49 record. They're still last place in the National League West. However, they've been on quite a hot streak lately. They've won 10 of their last 12 games. They scored 96 runs in that stretch. Their offense has really stepped up. Evan Longoria's been hitting well. Brandon Crawford just had a really good day yesterday. 8 RBIs, 5 hits in one game against the Rockies yesterday. And just everyone else in their offense has been stepping up really well as well. Posey's been hitting a little bit better. Joe Panik's starting to hit. Belt's starting to hit. Their offense has really been heating up. And then, of course, you got people like Alex Dickerson and Austin Slater, who recently got called up by the Giants, and they're both hitting really well too. So, yeah, very interesting situation for the Giants, because before the All-Star break, I think everyone fully expected them to dump off all their players, get some prospects back, improve that farm system. But now that they're kind of on a bit of a hot streak, I think people are starting to wonder, what are the Giants' intentions really? Are they going to go for a wild card spot? I mean, they're only 3 games out of it right now. I think right now, if you look at the wild card standings, the Cardinals and the Phillies are tied for the second wild card spot. The Nationals have the first one, 2 games up. And then you have the Brewers, who are a half game back. The Diamondbacks, who are 1 game back. I think the Rockies are 2 games back, And then the Padres are 2.5 back. And the Giants are just 3 back. So the Giants are right in the wild card race when you actually look at it. 3 games is not a lot to make up, especially since you have 2 months of baseball left to play before the playoffs. So the Giants are pretty much right in it. Of course, the Reds and Pirates are also right in it. They're 3.5 games out of the wild card spot. And even the Mets are 5.5 games out. Really, every team in the National League except for the Marlins is in the wild card race right now. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting second half of the season for sure. But let's take a look at the Giants. So again, 96 runs in their last 12 games, average of 8 runs a game. Before in the first half, that's pretty much unheard of from the Giants. 8 runs a game, they would struggle to score 2 or 3 runs a game. They would make younger or terrible pitchers like Jason Vargas of the Mets look like Cy Young contenders by letting them pitch complete game shutouts against them. They just could not score any runs. But 8 runs a game now in their last 12 games. So if you take a look at who they've been playing, they played the first game of this little hot streak was actually the last game of a series against the Diamondbacks at Oak Grove Park, in which they won 10-4. And then they went on to play the Padres in San Diego. They went on to play the Cardinals at home. And then the All-Star break happened. And then after the All-Star break, they went to Milwaukee for a series. And then they're currently playing in a series against Colorado. They had a doubleheader yesterday. They won both games of that doubleheader. And yeah, their pitching's been stepping up quite a bit as well. Samardzija's gotten hot. Bumgarner is finally starting to get back to form. Sean Anderson hasn't pitched terribly since coming up, although he has been struggling a little bit lately. Tyler Beattie's been heating up a little bit. And, of course, the Giants' bullpen has just been lights out for the most part. They struggled in the series against the Brewers a little bit, but other than that, they've been pretty much lights out. Reyes Moranta, Tony Watson, Sam Dyson, Will Smith, who had not blown a save up until the first game against the Brewers, although the Giants still won that game. So, yeah, the Giants, they've been heating up a lot. Everyone's been stepping it up. And I think the general manager, Farron Zaidi, is that his name? Or president of baseball operation? I don't know what position he is exactly. But Farron Zaidi, I know he worked with the Dodgers in the past, and he found people like Cody Bellinger, who were drafted much lower in the MLB draft. But now Cody Bellinger is going to be the NL MVP, so yeah. He's capable of finding this hidden talent, and he seems to be doing that with the Giants, at least so far. Now, the main question that I'm going to get into here, should the Giants still trade their players? Because they do have a 45 and 49 record. They're still 4 games below 500. And they've got quite a schedule ahead of them. They have 2 more games at Colorado, but then they come home and they play the Mets, which normally you would think would be an easy series because the Mets are a pretty bad team right now. However, the Mets are no pushovers. The Mets pitchers have always done well against the Giants in the past. And then you have, of course, you're going to have more series against the D-backs, the Dodgers, more against the Rockies. I think you got another series against the Nationals coming up. Their schedule is only going to get tougher from here. So the answer to whether I think they should trade away people like Madison Bumgarner or Will Smith, who are going to be free agents at the end of the season, as much as I don't want to say it, I think you still got to trade away your players because, or at least those two in particular, because the Giants farm system is still pretty weak. They're in their, Mad Bum and Will Smith are in their final years, and I don't really think it's going to hurt them that much. They could probably still keep this hot streak alive even without those two people. I mean, with Will Smith, even if you trade him away, you still have plenty of bullpen arms. Like I said, Moranta, Dyson, Watson. And you also have Trevor Gotton there. You also have Derek Holland pitching long relief or being like the innings eater. They could always use Derek Rodriguez in the bullpen, although they did just use Derek Rodriguez in a starting position. So if they traded Bumgarner, then Derek Rodriguez would likely be the replacement there. But, again, Mark Melancon, they could always use him. Sam Coonrod, Ray Black, who are in the minors. They've called him up a couple times. They could use them. So, yeah, I don't think trading away Will Smith's going to be too much of a problem for them. And plus, a lot of people might be willing to give a lot back for Will Smith. So that would improve the farm system a lot. While it wouldn't really hurt their bullpen that much. They can always make Mark Melancon the closer again, just like he was in the past. Or they can make someone like Reyes Moranta be the closer. Or just not really have a closer and just put in pitchers whenever. So, yeah, I do think they should trade Will Smith to someone like the Twins or the Red Sox and maybe get some prospects back for him. As for Bumgarner, that one's a little bit more complicated, but I do still think they would benefit more if they traded him. When you look at Bumgarner in this hot streak so far, he's started 3 of those games. The first game was the game against the Diamondbacks, and He pitched 7 innings. He gave up 1 run, although the Giants did give him 10 runs of support. So that game was mainly the offense, not really Bum's pitching, but mainly just the offense, although Bum's pitching did help. The second game he only pitched 2 innings, and then he had to leave because of an injury. Now, this game was right before the All-Star break. It was his last start before the All-Star break, so it didn't really, and luckily the injury wasn't significant enough to warrant putting him on the IL, so that didn't really hurt him too much. It keeps his trade value there, and he only went 2 innings. The Giants still won that. The Giants did win that game, and then the third game he started, the Giants actually lost his third start. They had a lead, but then the bullpen gave it up. It was a game against the Brewers. He went 5 innings, 1 unearned run, and that was it. So it's not like Bumgarner has had a little bit of a hand in this, but not much. Like, not as much as their offense or someone like Jeff Samardzija, who's been super hot. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. Plus, Derek Rodriguez had a pretty good start yesterday. I'd like to see Derek Rodriguez make some more starts, maybe get a return to form like he was in 2018. I want to see Derek Rodriguez improve. And plus, they can always use Derek Holland as a starter if they need to as well. But, yeah, I'd like to see Derek Rodriguez make some more starts again, see how he improves. And plus, they're going to get, I think he's going to be sought after quite a bit by someone like the Braves or the Yankees, someone who needs a starting pitcher. The Brewers are another team like that, and they could get a lot back for him, especially if they're desperate like the Brewers. So, yeah. And, of course, some things to take... So, yeah. And, of course, there's also some things to take into consideration as to why the Giants are on such a hot streak. First of all, 8 of these 12 games have been on the road, and the Giants have always played better on the road recently. Especially in Coors Field yesterday. They had 2 games at Coors Field. They played at Miller Park. They played at Petco Park, which are a little bit more hitter-friendly, I think, if I remember correctly. I actually don't know about Miller Park, but I think Petco Park's a little bit more hitter-friendly. Coors Field's definitely more hitter-friendly, so yeah. And in their games at home, they scored 23 of their 96 runs in the 4 games they had at home. So yeah, about a quarter of the total runs, but still, 10 of those runs came from the game against the Diamondbacks. And then the games against the Cardinals, they did struggle a little bit on offense, especially in the 3rd game where they only got 1 run. Still won that game, but only got 1 run. So yeah. And then the other thing to take into consideration is the teams that they're playing and their pitchers. The Padres have a pretty weak starting rotation. So do the Brewers. The Cardinals are not that much better. I mean, they did have Miles Mikolas pitch, but he did not do well. And Dakota Hudson, he was probably their best pitcher, still gave up a few runs. And then Jack Flaherty, who's usually struggling. Jack Flaherty actually pitched way better than he probably should have, but yeah, still. And then, of course, the Rockies have a pretty weak pitching rotation as well, aside from Germán Marquez. But even Germán Marquez has been struggling. He just got lit up by the Giants for 11 runs. So, yeah, they've been playing against pitchers that are not exactly great. So, yeah, I don't think the Giants' hot streak is going to continue too much longer. I think it might continue a little bit, but maybe through the Rockies series, but not too much past that. I think the Mets series will kind of bring them back down to earth a little bit. We'll see, though. Maybe they will continue. Maybe they'll surprise everyone. The only real concern about trading Madison Bumgarner away is if the Giants do somehow sneak out a wild card spot. They don't really have their main guy to start the wild card game. In the past, they've used Madison Bumgarner to start wild card games, and they've won that way pretty much every time. 2014, 2016, Madison Bumgarner went the full 9 innings, didn't give up a single run in either of those games. And plus, Madison Bumgarner is just a really good postseason pitcher. Even if the Giants get past the wild card game, they're still going to struggle. They probably face the Dodgers in the NLDS, and I'm sure they would get hammered pretty hard by them. So yeah, even if they do manage to make the postseason, I don't really see them getting that far. So yeah, I think the Giants should just trade away Mad Bum and Will Smith. They can always re-sign him in the offseason if they want to, pull a Yankees with Aroldis Chapman or the Mets with Jeurys Familia. They could do that with Madison Bumgarner. Just re-sign him in the offseason next year. And it's a win-win. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to talk about. I don't really have much else to talk about. What do you think about the Giants so far and the Giants season? Do you think they should trade away some of their players? Do you think they should keep some of their players? Or do you think they should even be buyers? I don't think they should be buyers. I'll tell you that much. They should not be buyers at the deadline. They should just either keep what they have or sell. But I don't really think they need to sell all of their players. Just Mad Bum and Will Smith, maybe a few other bullpen arms, maybe someone like Brandon Belt or Joe Panic or someone like that. Maybe someone who's not been doing quite as well to a team that needs a second baseman or a first baseman or something like that. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I don't really think the Giants are going to continue this hot streak. If they do, then I'll be damned. I would love to see them in the playoffs, but I just don't think that's quite going to happen. I don't think they're quite ready yet. Give it maybe a couple more years, and the Giants will be back in contention, I'm pretty sure, soon enough. So, yeah, again, make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you think of this little hot streak the Giants are going on, what you think they should do at the trade deadline. They only have 2 weeks left, so they don't have much time to make a decision. But hopefully they make a decision soon, because there could be some season-defining series coming up in August that will tell us whether or not they really screwed up on the trade deadline. I don't want them to screw up this year. So, yeah, make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you think. And make sure to comment down below, who do you think is going to win the World Series? I'm still saying the Yankees. I think it's their year. And CC Sabathia is retiring. I think it's only right for the Yankees to win. So, yeah, I still think the Yankees are going to win. But, yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think. And make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the future. And until next time, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember to stay California cool. Peace.